with that and give you our gut reactions on all things pop culture, film, TV, and theatre. We talk to legends in the creative industry and those on the rise. We game old school. We do all this and a whole lot more. Like, subscribe, get involved. Join Steen Anthony Nielsen and the Outcast Creative.
Hello. Well, we're here for a impromptu, unplanned gut reaction review of David Fincher's The Killer, which just dropped last night on Netflix. But before I get into that and welcome my guests, I just want to do a personal shout out. Today, unfortunately, the British drama teacher legend Anna Sher, who started the Anna Sher Children's Drama School in 1968, and it was still going until earlier this year, passed away, sadly. She was something of a legend in British drama circles. She was awarded an MBE for her services towards the acting profession. She kick-started the careers of many notable actors, including Dexter Fletcher. Got his first gig through Anna in the film Bugsy Malone with Alan Parker. Dexter went on to be a successful actor, appearing in shows like Band of Brothers. And he's now a director and directed Rocket Man and also directed some of the episodes and recently produced The Offer. Then you have people like Mark and Ray Burdis, who produced a number of films with their company, Natural Nylon, some of which starred Jude Law. And these two young lads both started with Anna, one of them at the age of 11. You also have people like Pauline Quirk, who was in Birds of a Feather. Half the cast of EastEnders went through Anna's at one point. The brothers from Spandau Ballet, Martin and Gary Kemp, were both students at Anna Sher's before they were pop stars. And a whole load of other people, most of the cast of the British TV drama show set in the school Grange Hill, most of them came from Anna Sher's. I was a student there myself for 2 years. Her husband, Charles Verrill, who was also an acting coach, he passed away actually only 4 weeks ago. And I suppose the one blessing that we can say is that they're now both together. But she was and will remain somebody who had a huge influence on many people's careers. And I don't think it's an overestimation to say that there probably isn't anybody else in that profession that single-handedly impacted the career of more British actors than anyone else. There is Anna Sher with Debbie Krieger of the Outcast Creative, who also went to Anna's for a time, and that's Charles Verrill on the left. So they both will be sorely missed. So I hope you forgive me if I just do that shout out there, guys, but thanks very much. So let's get on to The Killer and welcome my guests, Northern English echoing bastard.
Hello, and, hello.
How's the audio now? Oh, I think the echo's gone. We're all right. And then we have the man with a superhero name, but without a superhero cape. But I'm told that's coming for the next stream, Stu Penzo. So thanks, guys, for both coming on this at short notice. I enjoyed this film so much. When I see something I really like, I always want to do a gut reaction as fast as possible. Gut reactions are not the same as the Chew the Fat videos where we stay on for a couple of hours talking about absolutely every aspect of a film or TV show that we love. This is more just a quick review, our kind of initial thoughts and our current where we rate it currently. And I intend to watch it again because there's a lot to unpick in that movie. Yes, James Willard, Grange Hill is indeed a blast from the past. Tucker Jenkins, Todd Carty also.
Watched that.
Yeah. So half the cast of Grange Hill came through Anna Sher's, I can tell you now. So The Killer. I take it both of you have seen it?
Yep. This morning.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking good, I tell you. Michael Fassbender is. Yeah,
Well, let's
knocks
start
it out
with
the
you.
park.
I mean, my take on it very quickly was it reminded me of a cross between Leon and that French cinema verte film called Man Bites Dog, which was a black and white sort of runaway hit in the 1990s. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Love it. Love that one.
I've seen
but
Leon.
you know, this is Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
So imagine this is Spinal Tap, but about an assassin and a film crew are following him about, and he talks to camera constantly. So if that film and Leon had a love child, I think it's The Killer. And yeah, that's kind of what my take on it at the moment. Yeah, so Northern English Bastard, go for it.
Yeah, well, I like the fact that it kind of takes its time as well. It doesn't just go full blown action there. Like most of the time, you see him waiting, which is probably a majority of the job because you need your target to be where it needs to be, and also you see a lot of the tedium of making errands to get the equipment he needs. So it's very methodical.
Yeah,
and it's I'm still kind of like trying to get my thoughts together so I can do the review, but I like a film that kind of takes its time a little bit, and The Killer definitely does that. But when it does get to the action, it doesn't feel over the top like John Wick, which does well, but it wouldn't be right for this film. And it does do some smart things. I thought the fight scene with the Florida guy, who's 10 times fucking bigger than him, was actually smartly done, because you kind of see him getting overpowered, so he has to sort of keep his distance while looking for any opportunities he can to take him down.
yeah, that was very clever.
Lucky by getting that table leg shoved up his ass.
Yeah, I know. I thought it went up his fucking dick as well, because he had like.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, I was like wincing when I saw that part. I was like, oh.
I mean, yeah. I think one of its strengths is it felt like grounded in reality. It was almost like if you were going to make a film about the life of a hitman, this might be what it actually looks like. And I think the beginning of the film is kind of set up to say, look, most of the time my job's quite boring. I have to wait around a lot.
I know. And he doesn't dress slick either, like Tom Cruise does in Collateral. He actually dresses as boring or mundane or a little goofier as possible, like just to make himself look dead ordinary.
Yeah. Stupenzo, what are your sort of initial thoughts?
Well, I love the book, the comic book it's based off of.
It's based on a comic book. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a really good one. It's a French comic book, and it was a really good adaptation because it was, similar enough to where it wasn't, like they changed enough to where it wasn't totally predictable and beat for beat remake, but they also didn't change it too much to where it's like unrecognizable. They were good companion pieces with each other. They both have like very like similar basic plot points. I mean, the main thorough plot point of both is like the guy's a killer, and then his girlfriend gets involved. She gets attacked, and then he has to go. It's personal now. But I mean, there's still like a lot of differences. Like, with the comic book, he starts working like directly for like narcos, against his will, kind of. Right. He also has to like unravel this kind of backstabbing story. This one was much simpler, more methodical, but I don't know. One of the things that I thought was a little jarring was like I loved it had very David Fincher-esque color palette and lighting and standard David Fincher like these camera angles, but there was a lot of like shaky camera and handheld camera, which is very not normal with Fincher. But other than that, I thought
it didn't ruin the action scenes, which used to be a big problem in the 2000s.
And that's the thing is like when you say, David Fincher, cool. When you say David Fincher doing a Netflix movie, I'm like, okay, I kind of lower my expectations a little because like Netflix has never really made anything truly epic, fantastic, amazing. Everything from Netflix is like satisfactory, good. And this was no different. But yeah, I mean, it's great because like, just to like what Lance was saying, like kind of more grounded realism and more focused on like, the killing. Like he says, like killing, the actual act of killing is only like a small part of the job. Most of it is the prep and the after work to like not get caught. Like all that stuff about like shaving, constantly being clean shaven, having no fucking body hair and stuff. And like a lot of the stuff that's in the book is like implicitly narrated, whereas like this movie does a great job, communicating like non-verbally. Like he's got a place in Dominican Republic, a place that he's saved up for, and he's got like a few jobs he wants to do before he retires and just permanently lives there with his girlfriend. But all that stuff is like implied non-verbally, and like when you first see his house, in a few minutes. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
I like the when he goes to the storage container that's got all the guns, and he's I've got 5 or 6 of these around the world. I wonder what the person's face will be when they come looking one day because of the unpaid bills. I like all that. It covers a lot of minutiae that sort of the employment minutiae of what it would really be like to be a hitman. That was the side of it that I thought was really strong, and the fact that the violence and the action in it is brutal and fast and felt grounded in reality. So when that longer fight did occur, I was much more engaged and on the edge of my seat than I would have been in a John Wick movie, which there's a fight in a John Wick movie. I expected to go on for 10 minutes.
Right. But that's the silliness, and like this comic book world of like hitmen that go to this fancy hotel and it's like they're superheroes almost, and it's just like, that's silly. This idea is like, rich people want other rich people taken care of. So they pay people like Michael Fassbender to take care of it. And it's his job to do it. And he does it however he needs to do it. But like, if you're good at your job, it's like, shit, should take you like a millisecond, And I loved the opening credits for this movie. Because first of all, you don't see opening credits anymore. But like, just real quick, bam. Like this fast. Like, that's how fast the titles are coming. And the whole opening sequence is like, it's like 30, 40 seconds long, maybe, the credits. And each one is just like window blind transition to like some kind of new method he's killing someone, like putting a silencer on a pistol or like putting a black mamba somewhere, like releasing a snake somewhere, like all these cool like syringes. He kind of misses
the creativity of it, doesn't he? So
and I was worried
a bit better, but I was getting bored.
I was worried we were seeing like glimpses of the actual movie, and I was like, I hate that when a movie kind of shows you clips from the movie coming ahead. It's like, no, but these are all
like the opening titles of this Mission Impossible film.
Right. Yeah, some of those stuff. It's like, I don't need to see spoilers. So I was worried, like, oh, is he going to release a snake somewhere and stuff? I'm glad he didn't do any of that. It was just a cool, self-contained opening credit scenes. And then the movie starts kind of similar to the book where he's like staking out someone, sniper rifle style. But in the book, it's like he's been there for like 6 days and he's like wondering where the hell this person is. And it's like a lot of like calls back and forth to like, where am I? The book is like told in 4 chapters and the movie's told in 6, right? Or 5. 5 or 6.
Yeah, I mean,
6. It's 5 chapters and a prologue. That's what it is.
How big is the graphic novel?
The graphic novel is it's not very long. I remember like the whole thing is like probably a 2-hour read. It's one of those comics that's like perfect for a movie. I know it's like 10 issues.
Okay.
So 10 floppy issues, and I think it's like 2 trade paperbacks they have, but they, it's one of those things where they kind of end it on a good cliffhanger, not cliffhanger, but like they kind of end it open to where it's like you could do a sequel if they wanted to.
Yeah.
But yeah, the idea is basic gist is like, I mean, that's the thing is like there's a lot of cliches in the book that they kind of got rid of, like one last job type thing before I retire and settle down. That kind of cliche happens.
No, it's good though. Got rid of that. Northern, you were going to say something. Jump in.
Yeah, I do like how we do get a bit more insight into his what he's thinking when he monologues, but he never kind of spells it out either. Like when he says suppress apathy because it means weakness. So he's obviously not a full-on psychopath, but he's learned to sort of switch off any emotions just to get the job done.
It's kind of, it's a professional mentality that you hear in his head rather than a narcissistic killer, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's just his approach to the job, isn't it? You're kind of hearing.
Yeah, because you kind of got to as well, because it's like, you kind of got to be a little bit inhuman to do it for a while. But it's soon as he hears his wife has been fucking beaten to death, to nearly after death, that humanity comes out, and it's like, okay, I'm on his side a bit more,
Yeah. Another thing,
man, when you drop that spoiler, we dropped 3 viewers in a second. Got to be careful about those.
Yeah.
Well, I try not to do spoilers on Gut Reaction.
Yeah. Another thing that's A lot better.
Well, it's at the beginning, innit? So
yeah, it's near the beginning.
It's a good
I
movie.
won't say anything else. I'll try to be vague as possible.
Yeah, same. But yeah, I mean, another thing they kind of did away with that. Well, I guess I won't say it then.
No, I mean, just be a bit vague without referring.
Well, like
to
in the book, for
names
instance, something they did in the book that I'm glad they didn't do was like, he's got this girlfriend that you kind of know, but she doesn't know that what he does, and she kind of slowly discovers what he does. They don't do any of that shit in the book. In the book, it's like they're a couple, and it's like, it's great. It's like they kind of, it's kind of why you could kind of assume that, like, even though there's a lot of similar like main points, you could see the movie as like a continuation of the book, like, but there's still like a lot of enough similarities to where it's like you kind of be like, wow, we're doing this all over again, huh? But I don't know, it's not too different. But yeah, a lot of these like comparisons of him to like a methodical like killing animal like an alligator, a lot of alligator crocodile imagery is used in the book. That's super cool, and I was really excited to seeing like fucking David Fincher photographing crocodiles, and like none of that's in the book, in the movie, I mean. So
yeah, there was a distinct lack of crocodiles in the
yeah
film.
I was like, god damn. But David Fincher, he's got that distinct look, man, where it's like his blacks in the lighting are not totally blacked, he's got like this almost like everything's got like this haze, and he definitely loves using those yellow tungsten lights that like they don't even put in cities anymore, which is like kind of bad. They've got those like white like energy saving lights.
Another one you mean?
You always kind of get the feeling that something's bad is going to happen no matter where it is. Probably the way he shoots it, because there is a kind of this dark bleakness to how he shoots things.
Yeah, it's very like naturalistic lighting, and it looks so slick. And also, like I said, that's another thing that's very standard to Fincher is like camera work. The camera is like some kind of entity that can just like, it's like an omnipotent creature that can like go through walls, and it can be anywhere at any time. And it's always like on a tripod or always like moving on a rail. It's always like moving very smoothly. So whenever it's like held with a human, like handheld stuff, I don't think I've ever seen David Fincher use handheld camera, unless maybe he used it in Mindhunter or Mank, because I didn't really see those. But like his previous Netflix movie. But yeah,
do we think this is one of Michael Fassbender's best performances?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and also he hasn't been in a movie in like 4 years.
Well, he's been shacked up with Alicia Vikander, so you'd probably disappear for 4 years if you were.
Yeah. Have you guys seen that movie Shame?
Yeah.
Dude, Fassbender hangs some serious dong.
Yeah. That was all anyone was. Whenever girls were talking about that film, that was all they talked about.
He's like the kind of guy where like they have his like butt shot, and you can see it like dangling between his legs. You're like, dude, get out of here.
Tripod. I mean, also, I think one of the reasons he did that was a Steve McQueen movie, if I remember rightly.
Oh, right.
And not the actor, the director.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And I think one of the reasons he was interested in that script was because, by his own admission, he was a sex addict.
Yeah.
And but was exploring that sort of complex thing of the addiction over the reality, and then unable to connect with people on an emotional level, because the story revolved around porn addiction as well.
Yeah. Also, the other thing is like you have other actors and actresses, they're all kind of promiscuous,
Yeah.
So it's like you got like Jennifer Lawrence, who's very probably open sexually, and then she's doing like scenes with like fucking Michael Fassbender, self-proclaimed donkey dick sex addict, and he's like staring at her like perfection, over and over again all day. Take 55, you're perfection, you're absolutely perfect. And it's like, how do they not just like, let's go have sex right now after this shot, like, please, like, like, get it out of the way.
Well, the black actress that he was in that film with, who he did scenes with, quite intense physical scenes. They ended up dating for a while.
I love that. It's always so sweet.
Yeah, Yeah, not too long, but kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, Fassbender does a good like performance. I don't know if it's like his best because it's not very like not a lot of range, and it's also a lot of voiceover, which is like usually that's like a cop out or cheating. But since it's based on a book,
better when he's not saying anything. When he comes across people aware, I won't give away too much, but when they're all talking, fucking saying whatever they can, and he just looks at them and
that's why I think
away.
That's why I think it is one of the best performances of his career, because he conveys so much with just a look in different scenes in this film. You can always tell when he's just about to kill someone.
Yeah.
After you've seen a couple of those scenes. I particularly liked one of my favorite bits, without getting into spoilers, was when somebody said, "Help me up, won't you?"
Yeah.
And you knew that was going to be a trick. And he was just, I'm not falling for that. Blew them away.
This, like, look. He gets this like blank.
I kind of get the impression that he has fallen for that kind of trick before, and he paid for it, but managed to survive the ordeal.
Yeah, I mean, you
might well be right.
Also, yeah, just like he's got this like otherness vibe, like when he looks at other people, like normal people, like when he's like scanning like the area, the street or whatever, like he gives people these looks like this like head tilt, like a dog.
Are you trying to say that highly paid professional assassins are not normal people?
No, I don't think so. Well, what's funny is like, because like one of the scripts I have, because like I want to do my vampire comic book first, but like I've always had this like hitman story, and it's very heavily, inspired by The Killer, the book. But it's also like, I don't know. I realize like now in this year, 2023, I'm realizing like of doing YouTube, I'm realizing like, oh, you could make this like Hitman movie a total like allegory and a metaphor for like this like YouTube social network climbing influencer type vibe that we see nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, those terrible YouTube people. Who do they think they are, honestly?
Yeah.
So I'll probably come back and do a longer program about this when I've had a chance to watch it a couple more times, and you'd both be welcome to come back, and we'll dive into it a bit more deeply and look at individual performances and things like that.
All right.
Just for a gut reaction for today, what's your current score? Sometimes my score changes when I watch a film second or third time, but what's your current score at the moment, Stepenzo?
I mean, I'd give it a solid, 3 out of 5, or what, 6/7 out of 10.
Really? I thought it'd be higher than that.
It's just, it is a little slower for Fincher, and it is a little like the plot. I don't know. It's not a whole lot happens if you broke it down in like little sections. It's a nice, simple, like self-contained kind of story, and it is a little slow, especially for like being touted. Like it's definitely not John Wick, like you said. But I appreciate that, but also like it's not Fight Club or Seven or The Game or some of his other like Panic Room. God, I love Panic Room. Another thing about Fincher does is like the low camera angles. I love that stuff, and there's a lot of that in this movie.
I forgot he directed The Game. Actually, that'd be a good movie to do a discussion at some point.
Saw that for the first time a while back. It's pretty
good film. I saw that at the cinema. Northern, where do you stand on this?
I don't usually score movies, but I will say this: it's violent, intricate, and slick, and yeah, just fucking awesome. Yeah, for lack of a better word.
So where would that land out of 10?
As score-wise, I'll give it 4 out of 5.
Oh, 4 out of 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give it 4 out of 5 or 8 out of 10 on IMDb. It is slow, but I didn't mind that because I found it so refreshing that it was slightly different, and I was interested. I mean, my mind did wander occasionally, so it didn't have me completely on the edge of my seat, but it had me invested enough to always get to the next scene, and I liked the sense of seeing the routine and the little details, and I liked the
puts you in his shoes. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, and I also liked like various different characters trying to talk their way out of being killed.
Yeah, there was one scene where he, I don't think it's a total spoiler, but he nails some laptops, and the other guy goes, "Well, that's just juvenile." And I'm not gonna lie, I did laugh my ass off a little bit.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, that was That was
Yeah.
funny. He regretted saying that though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The
all
woman
did.
who was in the tied up in the bathroom, who then went into the lift with him and then in the car with him. Unless I turned my head away from the screen at the wrong moment, I don't think we saw her ultimate fate. It was implied, but I don't think we saw it, did we?
Yeah,
I think I did see it, but like again, it could be a Mandela effect from when I first saw it. If I watch it again, we'll probably get.
No.
I'll probably.
No, I don't want to spoil.
Know.
I'll spoil it after we stop streaming. But yes, her fate was definitely sealed. It's pretty quick.
Yeah, she knew she was going to die, though.
It's pretty quick. Blink of an eye.
I couldn't. I can't remember if I. Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, because there's a lot of repetition in the film to a degree, but Mandela effect, as you say. Well, it is a strong recommendation from us. I want to see it again, which is always a good sign. I think I'll pick up on a lot more the second time. But yeah, it was really, really good. Just quickly, guys, because I said it's just a short stream today. What you got coming up?
Well, I
depends. Or
we're doing Wolf Creek on your channel tomorrow, aren't we?
Yeah. So it depends. You're coming on with me tomorrow to do the interview with Cassandra McGrath, who I've got to do a tech test with at 10 o'clock tonight.
All right. Yeah, I'll be there.
Make sure all the audio's working. Hey, Retro Nerd Girls here. We're just about to wrap up. Retro,
hey.
Good to see you. Retro will be helping me keep score when we do our YouTubers movie and TV trivia quiz.
Oh my God! When is that? I was not.
I think it's on the 17th of December.
I love movie trivia, so
I'll let you know if we've got space. I'm only having 4 people per side. It might already be full, but I'll let you know.
I'll be in the chat whooping ass if not.
Yeah, the chat can take part, so you can. No Googling, but yeah, you know, very good. Yeah, so you're on with me tomorrow.
Yeah, and I guess we'll do Tales of the Dork Side late night Monday, since we're going to be doing Lance's channel around 4 p.m. my time.
Right,
so I
if
guess
if I'm not in the land of snooze, I'll pop on if I'm.
Yeah, we'll be doing it like 10 p.m. my time now. So I either try to do it from 4 to 8 or 10 to 2.
All right.
Try not to step over the cannoli streams.
The cannoli live shower experience.
Yeah.
Northern Bastard, will you be on the dork side?
I'll try and see if I can fit myself in, but right now I'm trying to get my next project up, Terminator Dark Fart review.
Well, that's worthy of roastal too.
Yeah, and I will say this: one man's pain is another man's pleasure, and I hope my pain brings a lot of you pleasure. When
Dark Fate's the one where they kill off John Connor in the beginning, right?
Yeah,
the newest one.
Living that again.
Okay, I'm just making sure because they're also. I keep confusing Genesis and Dark Fate because they're both terrible.
They're equally bad. Ones.
Yeah. One of them had some good ideas in it, which weren't properly realized. And I did a great stream with Retro, where on her channel, where we fixed the Terminator franchise, and I'd written a whole treatment for Terminator 3, and it just brings the whole film back to the beginning. So that the Terminator 3 is basically all set in the future.
Right.
It's all about the final attack on Skynet, and it ends with Reese being sent back in time to the first movie, and then they find a bit more somewhere else and realize that there's another Terminator going after him, and then one after. So you also see the other two go back, and you know, then it ends with Skynet being defeated in the future. So and the timeline staying as it is because Reese went back. So it kind of brought everything full circle and made a really nice trilogy, and everybody on the chat loved it. It was you know,
that's like my Friday the 13th trilogy. When I was like in middle school or high school, I was like, after Jason X, I was like, they should do Jason 11, 12, and then 13. Friday the 13th Friday.
Yeah, that's true.
So you have like Jason X back in time fighting regular Jason in like Camp Crystal Lake. You know, it was stupid.
Copa Baby Daddy Mechana is in the chat. So just a big shout out to Copa. I do love Copa, and he
Copa would have more traction.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy. All right, well look, it is just a short stream just to discuss this movie. The general consensus for those arriving late is that we did all like it. We recommend it.
Also recommend the book. Check it out. It's I'm sure you could watch it on read it on one of them pirate comic book sites.
Graphic novel, right? Graphic novel.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was like 10 floppy issues, and then they put it in a trade paperback. Also, yeah, it's a French book, so it's translated in English. In the book, he's supposed to be a French guy in France.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
yeah, the graphic novel is quite different, but the Stupenzo says this is a good lean adaptation of it. So
yeah, they were great. They're good companion pieces, the two of them.
All right, guys. Well, look, thanks to the people that are watching. It is just a short gut reaction review. It's not a big digest of the film just yet. We'll come back and do that another time. Thanks to my guests for coming in and doing this at short notice.
Talked about it pretty thoroughly on
me on
Tales
as well.
Monday.
It's a nice little warm up for when I do Mr. In Between.
Yeah. Mr. In Between will be a longer stream. That'll be a couple of hours. We'll be talking about that at
the William Free Kids 6 hours with you, Stu Penzo, didn't I? And Turtles.
Yeah. The Ninja Turtle stream is like 6.5 hours long. There's an abridged safer work edit I made. It's only 3 hours long.
The Banshee stream will be fairly long as well. So
nice.
Those are two.
Yeah,
big
I'm trying to catch up on that recently as well.
I've got to rewatch.
I really want to
rewatch
find out what happens next.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it because I watched it forever ago, 5 years ago or something, and.
Thanks, Dave.
So thanks, guys. Okay, thanks for chat. Thanks, everyone, for coming in. And we shall see you all again real soon. Don't forget to check out my channel tomorrow where I've got one of the actresses from Wolf Creek coming in. That is at 10 p.m. GMT time, 5 p.m. East Coast time. Then on Tuesday, I've got stunt coordinator Dan Stiles coming in, who's got 300 credits on IMDb. And he's going to talk about all the action stuff he's been doing. He did season 4 of Vikings, for example. And then on Thursday, I've got actor Sean Cronin coming in, who's also a director and producer, been on films like Mission Impossible. So I've got 3 interviews this week. My God, it's the most I've ever had in 1 week. Lots happening. Until then, and I'll be on Retro Nerd Girls channel on 2 Fridays time, I think. Not this Friday coming, but Friday week, talking about feel-good movies again. And we've just done 2 streams about that.
About Schmidt. It's my favorite feel-good movie. Tokyo Godfathers is another good one.
That's indeed. We'll talk to you all again real soon. Thanks very much. Bye.